maps and try to figure out why is this area increasing in population and while this other area is decreasing. And then if you're familiar with that area, you may have some what we call this background knowledge. You can make some educated guesses as to why that's happening. That will be the topic of our kanang next meeting. So let me just close the Cibalo municipality here. I want to focus on region 7. Let's see. Let me close it. Actually, I need a map of Cebu. So I'll export Cebu. Going to attributes table, looking for name underscore 2. So fields and values, name underscore 2, double click, equals. Hopefully it will say Cebu City. Select all features, close, close. Create a new shapefile for Cebu, export, save as. We'll call this Cebu. I'll organize my files later in the after class. Cebu City, March 11th, 2023 map. Okay. Save. Yeah, call that. No, string. Okay. So I'll close that for now. I will join the population data. I don't save that. Use just my data, tables, Cebu City barangays. So this one I prepared from, I think, last year already. Cebu City barangays. That's auto fit column width. Column width. There we go. So change, let's call this change. This population growth rate. Save. So I have 2015, 2020. I think I'll just remove these values here because I just want the population. I'll just double check the spellings. It's gonna be as, si parian, it os. Let me double check the names in the attribute table. Pongol, Sibugay, Toong, Pardo. So every space is a name, like capital letter, I mean. So just making sure the spellings are correct. Padilla, doon, Pugosyon. Yes, go ahead. Sir, I don't have Excel. Can I use, yeah, you can use Google Spreadsheet as long as there's no formatting. And then let me check if Google Spreadsheet can save as on CSV. Let me double check. Let's see. Let's make a Google Sheet here. My Drive. New Google Sheet. So the big question here is if you can download, yes, you can download it here as comma separated values. So you can import it into Google Sheets, save it as a .csv file, and then import it to QGIS. Okay, good, we can do that. Let me close this. I have so many tabs already. Oh, finally it uploaded. This is the video for last week's session. Okay. Good thing Google chose a good thumbnail. Pwede ko invite LGU. Pwede na sign in. Oh, this is being recorded. We're having some construction project, so it's also happening this month. So that's another thing on my to-do list. Where am I? Okay, Cebu City, the spelling seems to be correct. Budlaan, Buotao Pardo, Busay, Kambinukot, Kamputhao. Just making sure the spellings are correct because like it's like programming. If the spelling is wrong, the QGIS can't sort of won't consider it as the same sort of file name or file type. So like when you save a file, the capital letters changes the file name basically. Pass, double check. Okay. Budlaan. Bulacau, Dayas, Mumbai, Pudromo. Here we go. Okay. This is just a bit of the kanang tidying up process. You'll get used to it. And we only need these two maps, and we can already have a lot of discussion. Like from 2015 to 2020, what are the different events? If you can find data for 2010, that would be even more interesting. So you have 3 data points instead of just 2, and you can really see how people move from different barangays or towns in in the different cities in the Philippines. Yes, okay. Hopefully I didn't miss any spellings. So I'll save that. Okay, yes, yes. Now I will join, and I need to import the layer first. Layer, add layer, delimited text layer. Find that file. My data, tables, Cebu, barangays, open, comma, separated values, no geometry, add, close. It's now here. I will go to properties, click joins, make sure the fields are correct. So it's barangay to name underscore 3. That should be okay. So if I open the attribute table, my data is here. Good. I can also edit it. I'm missing some data. Can I edit it? No, I can't. This is a join layer. I can't edit it. Okay, let's see. There are some missing values over here. Pungol, Sibugay, and Senior Santo Niño. Okay. I need to open my CSV file again. Pungol, element OP. Okay, so there's been some name changes. Pungol, Sibugay. Zoom in a bit on my end. So this is just the tricky part. There we go. I didn't capital the O in Pungol. And then Senior Santo Niño is Barangay Central. So they changed the name from Senior Santo Niño Barangay to Barangay Central. I'll just change the name spelling here as well. Alternatively, I can just change this to Central because that's the current name. Oh, that's Central. Here is Central. I will save this. Okay, save. Save. Yes. I'll remove this one. Oh, I need to finish editing. Yes. Remove this layer. Add it again. Layer, delimited text layer. Okay, barangays. And then add, close. Let's put it over here. Properties, joins, name underscore 3. Always remember that's name underscore 3. That's where the barangay names are. Click OK, apply, OK. Go to open attribute table. All the data should be present. There should be no null data. You can check by clicking the population here. So you can arrange it highest to lowest. Okay. Okay, I'm seeing another problem in my file again. You can see properties, fields. It saved my file as text. Let's see. To go back to my CSV file again. Close. It's selected as number. I just probably, yeah, it's probably because it's set to number. It's a format that QGIS doesn't know. So make sure you make it general. That way it really doesn't get confused. Okay, let me try this. Close, save. Save again. Yes. Remove again. So a lot of like, what's the word? Trial and error for this. But the more you do it, the easier we'll get. Let me see. Layer, add layer, delimited text layer. See barangays. Okay. Okay, so this should fix it. I hope these work because it's kind of like programming. Properties. Okay, joins. Apply. Let's look at the fields. Yes, they're integer. Okay, now that they're integer, we can create data sets or maps from it. So go to properties. Let's go to symbology. Go to graduated. Select the value of Cebu City Barangay's population. I'll just use color ramp red. I'll have 12 classes. Okay. Lightest color, meaning it's the least populated. I really want to highlight the least populated gradient. This will be, let's say, what goes well with, that's too Christmassy. There, maybe something like that. Okay, maybe like that. Okay, so the least value here is around 800 people. Let's say 900 people. And the most populated here is barangay-wise, 61,000. As of 2020, I think the largest barangay is around 70,000 people already. That's Barangay Guadalupe. Click OK. So you can see in Cebu, most of the population is here. Sort of not really at the coast, but if you see here, some coastal areas, and then this is the old urban core. Remember, we talked about urban sprawl last week. So people moved away from the urban core into the sort of upland. And then in our sort of mountainous areas, there's lesser population here because it's there's not much economic activity. So they move to the upland areas here where most of the commercial and like what they call this, residential areas are. So I will check if it changed from 2015 to 2020. A good guess would be probably not. There's not much. We won't see any changes. Okay, let's make a new layout. We'll call this 2015 Cebu population. Or we just call it Cebu population. Okay, create. I'm sorry. Okay, we'll create the map again. Like that. Oh, I forgot to add the names. I'll add the names in a bit. Okay, I just want to show the context of Cebu. So there we go. Coastal sort of city. Okay, then we can move it like this. Just add the scale bars here. 4 segments. Like so. North symbol. So. Legend. That. I'll just remove the parts we don't need. I might rename that map. And that looks about right. Just make some changes in the QGIS file. Goes. I'll rename this. Rename. And angle editing. Rename layer. Let's call it Tibusity. Okay. I'm going to my. Okay, I don't need my attributes table anymore. Cebu city. Oh, sorry. I need that is Cebu city 20 population 2015. For the top, middle, center, text size, say 20. Font will be bold. I think I'll just update that. Move that. Move that. Okay. And then the text is subgroup font. Go. And then, as always, put your name lower right. Maybe 201N, March 11, 2023. Like so. File, save, export as image. Call it Cebu City 2015. And then we'll change the data to properties 2020. Don't forget to click classify, apply, okay. Then we'll go to the layout. We'll refresh data, there we go. And then file, export as image, save as 2020. Okay, so close, I'll save this, I'll close this. Okay, closing this. And let's look at the output folder. So you got okay. Oh, and open the same file twice. 2020. I didn't change the name, that's why. Project layout manager. Change the name to 2020. Okay. File export. Okay, close. Have that, and then we have that. Okay, let's minimize that. So we look at the population data of 2015 next to the population data of 2020. So I think on the legend is the one thing that really stands out. So in 2015, the least populated barangay had 866 people. Meanwhile, in 2020, the least populated is now 663. So there's a movement of 200 people. Not that big, but it's still interesting to note. Generally, you see the mid area here is where all the population is. Okay. I think there's some typo here. This is like missing a data set here, or character. So it's 31 to 70,000. Now it's in 2020. In 2015, it was 31,000 to 61,000. So there's an additional 10,000 people here in the red areas. But the arrangement in like physical space, most of the people, I'll just change to a green pen. most of the people still tend to locate in this area here. Okay, so from an urban design perspective and also urban planning perspective, the best location for protected land should be over here. So I think it makes sense, like even without the maps, but now we have the numbers to prove it. Because everyone is living down here in the upland areas. So our goal would be to sort of manage development along this line, this imaginary line. Oops, sorry, my mouse is going crazy. This imaginary line between the upland and the sort of the mountainous area, similar to what we discussed last sem, not last sem, last meeting, where did I move it? I moved the file, sorry. See documents, MUD. Over here, okay. So this is a slope map of Cebu, highlighting where the boundary should be according to the slope, because the higher the slope, the more difficult and more exposed to risk the buildings and structures are. So this is as of, I think, 2019 or 2020, where they divided Cebu to upland areas, peri-urban areas, uptown, and midtown areas. So sorry, I was calling the uptown areas upland. So that's supposed to be uptown here, where most of the residential areas are, and the midtown area is where most of the commercial areas are. The downtown area, this is still a mix of residential and commercial, but more on the low to middle income sort of target market. And then you have the Heritage Center here as well in like orange. And then the downtown, sort of new downtown, the new core, the South Road properties. So you can see it not only makes sense kind of geographically, but economically, socioeconomically, demographic-wise, these division of lands is logical, is rational. Now, people are living here in the uptown and midtown areas where most of the economic activity is, and our rural areas here, where the protected landscapes is less populated. So it makes sense now this area should be protected. And then where we draw the line would be somewhere between the peri-urban area and the uptown area. And then the only question now is like where specifically, like coordinates wise. And this is where more advanced QGIS, where I don't know how to do that, but the more expert QGIS users will be able to draw that line. And the next step would be to spread that information to the local government units here, the different barangays. Should be discussed with whoever, what communities or which communities are along those lines, so that they are aware that their area is the limit of urban development. And then the mayor and the local officials should be enforcing whatever that boundary line is. So that will become a policy. So we will protect our upland areas and limit develop to our uptown and midtown areas. So I think for the most part in Cebu, there won't be much change. Not in Cebu, but in the Philippines, there won't be much change from 2015 to 2020 population data. If you can find 2010 data, that would be very great. And then you can create 3 maps. It's, as you saw today, it's very easy to make multiple maps in the same area. This is really the power of QGIS. So yeah, feel free to experiment. For me, I'm just asking 2 maps. That's the 2015 and the 2020 population. You can submit that later today. The video recording hopefully will process soon enough. Question, yes, go ahead. And a question, Nelson? Or na?
Ganina na, sir.
Sige, sorry.
Okay,
So,
Cesar.
so far, klaro ra ang instructions, how to create these maps? Okay, klaro ra. Sige. So, I will give you until 9 p.m. to do these maps. For anyone who wants to, like, who needs time to catch up. But you can really see it's very kanang, for me it's fun to see where the people are, and then that is where our focus should be, development wise, where there should be more strict regulation, the policy should be focused in those areas, and that's where the people are. Okay, sige, it's 12:21. Ako, I haven't had lunch.